All right, let's see what Steven Crowder's up to. He's Steven Crowder is back at it again, asking the toughest questions. Why are you still wearing a mask? As though his deliberate and concerned effort has not created an unsafe environment where people are just unvaccinated and still spreading COVID and all this other stuff. I think there's like still 100 people dying every day in Florida. It's nuts. We often forget, like, when the media is not covering COVID, doesn't mean that the COVID has gone away. Like, it means that it's like diminished to a certain degree, but not gone. You know, people are still dying of COVID. So let's see.
Are you two vaccinated? Yeah, but still wearing masks. Are we? Can we ask you about it? We're just doing a general survey on people, whether they're vaccinated, they're not, their opinions on masks.
I'm actually vaccinated and recently immune. I actually did.
Oh, because you got COVID? So why do you say vaccinated but recently immune?
I'm still in my post-infectious immunity.
Yeah, well, okay, because I just had 2 family members who had it too, and that's how I found out that I had already had it, you know, it was because the antibody tests don't work so well. But I was sleeping with my wife who had it, obviously, she's my wife.
Our whole household got it.
Okay, but you said vaccinated, but you said now immune, so you're saying the
post-infectious immunity.
Right, yeah. But you didn't use immune for vaccine, is there a reason for that?
You're not completely immune from the vaccine the same way you're not completely immune after you've had the infection. I mean, it's just...
Right, no, I agree, but it seems...
Dude, what the fuck? Dude, this stuff is awesome. It's like we've just made like harassing random people walking on the street into the best kind of content. She's also like low-key destroying him a little bit, but we'll see.
It's like, yeah, you probably seem to think that having the virus gives you more immunity than the vaccine, the way you phrased it.
Oh, that's a known fact.
Yeah, okay, no, yeah, that's actually a question we're asking people, what they think about the vaccine versus natural immunity. Do you think the government should, do you think that people who have already had it should be exempt from, for example, like mandates, if they've already had COVID?
Yeah, because the immunity you have in your post-infectious phase does not stay with you forever, and it's not, I mean...
Bro, did he find a scientist? This person is literally spitting right now. What the fuck? This rarely happens. Like, oh my God, what is going on?
It's to the strain you have. I mean, that's just...
So you believe
that's
that
like saying, like, you shouldn't get a flu vaccine every year.
Well, but you just said you have more immunity from the, so
in the immediate post-infectious period.
Okay.
I still have antibodies from my body actively fighting
right.
the virus. Yeah.
But you don't believe you had those from the vaccine?
You have antibodies, but it's different.
Not as strong.
Yeah, it's different when it's...
Oh my God. Does he not understand that, like, when you literally are recovering from getting the virus in the immediate stage, that you are the most protected? And obviously there's varying degrees of protection, but that level of immunity immediately goes away. And even then, the kind of antibodies that you have in your body is not consistent. And the only way to consistently develop the highest level of protection against COVID is by literally being vaccinated. I don't think he understands that what she's saying. What she's saying is not what he thinks she's saying. He thinks like, oh, if you get COVID, then you're protected fully, right? Better than the vaccine, right? Like, no, she's not saying that. She's saying like in the immediate recovery period, you are the most protected, okay? In just the immediate recovery period. She even mentions that that goes away. Fucking on.
Your body has ramped up with antibodies.
Okay.
Your body has been trained to recognize the virus and deploy antibodies. It's the same thing with when you get monoclonal antibody treatment.
Right. That's very temporary.
It is.
But so I just want to make sure. So you're teaching me here. If you get the virus, right, your natural immunity, you believe, or you're saying, wears off faster than the vaccine immunity and doesn't recognize variants.
Different types of immunity.
Right. That doesn't recognize variants.
It depends on what the variants are.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing why they're reevaluating all the vaccines for like, are they providing ample immunity to the different variants?
What if the opposite were to be true scientifically? What if...
Wait, what did he say? What if wait, hold on. So Steven Crowder finally resorts to my favorite type of argument that conservatives engage in on a regular basis, specifically debate lords. Oh, you're telling me that things are a certain way? Well, what if they weren't? Okay, yeah. What if God struck down every single person that doesn't wear a mask in public? What then? Idiot, would you wear a mask then? Get fucked. That's not an argument. You can't just literally change the dynamic of something that is occurring to something that's not, so your side looks correct. You can't do that. You have to be a real fucking idiot to be like, yeah, he's really owning her here. What if I'm right and you're wrong? What if the opposite of the truth is what's going on? Yeah, okay. I would win then, right? Just literally, that's what he's saying. What if I was right, hypothetically?
What if the opposite were to be true scientifically? What if natural immunity actually prevented reinfection with variants more than the vaccine. Would you think that the government should take that into account? So, well, let's say, what if it was? Let's say it is true.
She's like, but that's not true. But what if it was? Would I win the argument then? What if it was? And I'm sure he's going to pull that one fucking study from Israel. Get ready. Because, like, there's one study that was inconclusive that said maybe natural immunity might be better and long-term or might offer better protection towards reinfection or getting COVID than the vaccines. And there are plenty of studies that actually disprove that. So I don't know if he's like ready to fucking fire that. I don't know if that's in his like holster. Okay. Let's see if he brings that up.
True, because it is. Do you think that then the government should take that into account?
Oh, here it is. Having SARS-CoV-2 once confers much greater immunity. Vaccination remains vital. You want to know what the beautiful part about that study is? Well, one, it's wrong because it's inconsistent, and she has the correct take where the highest level of immunity and protection that you get is like in the immediate part. Two, it's not a guarantee that you are going to keep those antibodies once you get infected. That's why Jair Bolsonaro, for example, has gotten COVID 700 times. Literally, the most COVID-getting man in America and in Brazil, okay? Jair Bolsonaro. Just point to that. I know it's fucking a single person, but the data also goes along with what I'm saying. But if you want to use an anecdote to defeat someone in the marketplace of ideas, be like, why did Jair Bolsonaro get COVID 700 times? Anyway.
When doing the mandates, if someone has had it and can, show that through a test.
If they can consistently prove that someone has full immunity, then it would be a different conversation. But that's just not how.
How many people have had COVID twice versus people who've had it after being vaccinated?
I don't know the answer to that question.
What? You can't use that as an argument. What? How many people have gotten COVID twice versus people that... It's an entirely separate pool. What the fuck kind of psychotic thing is that? How many of the people that had COVID twice were already vaccinated? How many of those people fucking died? How many people that got COVID and died are not a part of that fucking argument? Did he just say, oh, you like the vaccines? Name everyone that's been vaccinated. Like he's doing the, you're not a real vaccine hipster. Oh yeah? You think vaccines provide immunity? Name every immune person, bitch. Let's hear it. You can't know.
Almost none. But obviously we know there's a big problem with the vaccines, people still getting it.
Almost none. Yeah. You want to know why? Because 700,000 of them died in America. You fucking animal. You brain dead loser. What the fuck is this argument, dude? 700,000 people that have not gotten the vaccine, whether because it wasn't available at that point or refused to get it, have fucking died of COVID. And this guy literally is just like, how many people that got COVID got it again when you don't think about the 700,000 that fucking died? Oh. Irrelevant to my conversation. Irrelevant to my point of view. She should literally just be like, oh yeah, really? Almost 800,000 people have died. And the overwhelming majority, it's like 99.999% of those people did not have the COVID vaccine, whether because it wasn't available or because they refused to get it now. How many people in comparison to that have been vaccinated and fucking died? Oh wait, I already told you. It's literally fucking like 0.01%. Why are we having this conversation? This is such a stupid conversation to have. I feel like everyone is so dumb. Why are people so fucking dumb?
So this is kind of a totality. We're just saying, well, what sort of, when we balance people's freedoms versus the vaccine, do you think it should be a mandate across the board?
I'm done with this.
Okay. I would encourage you following the science, though. Natural immunity is
I would encourage you follow the science.
Stronger. Yeah, it's stronger against all variants. The vaccine isn't. Just read up on the science. Go to CDC. Literally everything she said was the opposite of the truth.
Why did he keep this? Why did he keep this in the fucking video, dude? This literally is him getting thoroughly just anally fisted by this tiny woman walking down the street with her mom, trying to fucking, I don't know, get groceries or whatever. He's thoroughly just proper fucking drilled and Boo Boo Bennett style drilled. And he's like, and then he licks his wounds by himself after the argument is over. He's like, I defeated her in the marketplace of ideas. Oh, that was awesome, dude. I'm so glad. Okay, I take it back. Now I'm happy that he didn't fucking die in the hospital, so I could just see him get fucking cumstered in the middle of the goddamn street. Why did he keep this in? What a silly thing to keep in. Love that. I mean, he keeps those. He keeps those in for us, for our pleasure.
But she started with, well, I had the vaccine, but now I've just recently become immune.
Yeah, fucking remember when she said that and I misunderstood what she was saying? Remember when like she was 100% correct, but I misunderstood what she was saying? So like I kind of won the argument. And the point is his audience is that fucking stupid, right? And because of that, his audience is like, yeah, even Crowder did win that one. That was fucking sick. This is not a man who feels like he won that. He did not win that battle rhetorically. He did not win that. Like his face betrays what he is saying. Oh, I fucking wrecked her, right? That was crazy, right? By the way, he's like, I love that he was like, read the CDC. The CDC. New CDC study. Vaccination offers higher protection than previous COVID-19 infection. CDC finds immunity from vaccines is more consistent than from infection, but both last at least 6 months. That's the main problem. The main problem is naturally acquired immunity might not offer consistent levels of protection. It is entirely dependent on how much COVID you got, for example. There are different variants at play there, whereas the vaccine response is consistent. Also, here's another way that you get natural immunity to COVID. Like you'll definitely not get it again. When you get COVID and fucking die, okay? When you get COVID and you didn't get vaccinated and you're sitting in the hospital bed by yourself and you need like 2 fucking nurses to roll you over every now and then so you don't get bed sores and you have a fucking vent down your goddamn throat and you're dying alone and scared. That's how you fucking never get COVID again because now you're dead. It's true. Foolproof argument from Steven Crowder. Fucking owned.
Well, because the CDC doesn't say you're immune with the vaccine. They changed the definition of
okay.
Vaccine and immunity. But then she said, well, natural immunity actually, wears off and it doesn't work against the variants. That's the exact opposite of what we're seeing.
That is not the exact opposite of what we're seeing. Oh my God. Why is it like this? Why are conservatives so bottom of the fucking barrel with this argument? It's like they're not even trying anymore. Remember, during COVID, in the beginning, in the fucking apex of COVID, he would do this like change my mind shit where he would talk about how like the COVID deaths are fake, right? And it was so easily disprovable. Like it literally was just like, okay, why are there so many additional deaths? I don't know. It's just doctors are killing people.
Let me ask you, I see you're wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. Are you vaccinated?
No, I'm not.
Okay, you're not. No. Is there a reason why not?
I just don't. I just feel like I just wear my mask. I just feel like...
You wear your mask? Is there a particular reason that maybe you don't trust the vaccine or you're waiting for long-term studies?
Yeah, I'm waiting on to get more research on it and get more studies on it because a lot of people that I know that took the test, they got sick behind it. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of just weighing my options on to get it.
He's like, nailed it. Finally found someone who agrees with me. I wonder if Steven Crowder will try to make her look dumb, even though, they are in agreement. Probably not.
You mean they got the vaccine and then got sick?
Yeah, they got the vaccine and then they got sick.
Well, that's pretty common now.
Yeah.
And initially with the vaccine, they said you wouldn't get sick.
Yeah, it's so common. You know what's really common? Dying of COVID because you're not vaccinated in comparison to dying of COVID when you are vaccinated. Obviously, we're not talking about that here. Why would we ever talk about that? It's top of the hour ad time. So the only thing we'll be talking about is at the top of the hour, there's a 60-second ad break.
So then, I think I know the answer to this, but we've been asking people how they feel about vaccine.
Watch TV, thank you for the 5 year this subs.
I would imagine you don't want to be forced to get the vaccine.
No, I don't.
No,
I don't want to.
I don't want to force you to get the vaccine.
No, I don't want to be forced. Have you got it?
No, but I've had COVID.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, matter of fact, my wife and parents just had it, and I was sleeping in bed with my wife, and exactly. Like, there's no way to get it.
He's talked about like sleeping in the same bed with his wife a lot, and I know that like obviously it's like relevant to bring up here, but it does seem like he's hammering that point. Like he's like, I fuck my wife a lot. We're sleeping in the same bed. Our marriage is very good, and we are sleeping in bed a lot, me and my wife. And she's definitely not sleeping in bed with other people. And I'm sleeping in bed with her. Like, dude, you could just say my wife had COVID and I got it from her, and people will understand. Why are you trying to make it clear that you got it in the bedroom? Unless you're covering for something, in which case, okay, cool, I guess. I want you to understand I fuck my wife as a straight man. Okay, let's keep going.
I think you shouldn't really force nobody to do anything. Right. You know what I'm saying? They should have their own will and own say what they really want to do, if they wanted to get it or not. You shouldn't say, well, hey, I demand you to do that. No, you shouldn't do that. Okay. People should be able to be free and do whatever they want to do.
Totally, sir. It's starting to rain, so I won't keep you longer, but thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time.
I'm noticing
He got bored. He got bored of that one. He's like, yeah, whatever. You agree with me.
That I can't quite. Well, I guess I'll go back to it. Finally, I spoke with this nice family.
Hey guys, how you doing?
All right, yourself?
Doing fine. Hey, you guys have.
Hey, can you tell me why do you have umbrellas on your head? Obviously, you're still gonna get wet, regardless of whether you have an umbrella or not. Do you know that like you still 99% of your body is still gonna get wet under the rain? Why is it that you're using an umbrella? It's kind of stupid. Why are you?
Okay. Now, Kwame, are you vaccinated?
Yes.
Yourself? Okay. What made you get vaccinated?
To be able to do things, you know, and protect other people from the COVID vaccine, or the COVID, COVID, yeah, from
You're not
COVID.
running up swatting vaccines out of
Yeah, no, to be able to protect, number one, my family, protect others, and be able to go out in the public and make sure that I wasn't causing more problems.
Wait, something is different here.
Are you Canadian?
Yes.
Bingo.
I just heard it. Go out.
Yeah.
How long have you been here? Are you visiting?
No, I've been in the U.S. 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, this is kind of interesting to me because I don't know if you've probably heard that some people are vaccine hesitant, and it's higher in the Black American community. And we've interviewed some people today, and they said, "Well, I'm a little leery of the government." You're the first one who just said, "Yep, I took it." Canadian. Do you think there's a little bit more with Canadians willing to go along with what the government wants them to do, the mandates, or?
Well, I think it's more so around their health care. You know, in terms of in Canada, there has a strong trust in healthcare.
Right.
Because the government runs the healthcare.
Right.
And so in Canada right now, the vaccination rate is at 85%.
Yeah.
Because of that trust. And
Bro, why is this video like pro fucking vaccine mandates, and every single person that he found is like kind of spitting?
I think in the U.S., a lot of people don't have trust in the healthcare because a lot of people don't even have it.
Right.
You know, so I think that's a big factor in why people haven't taken it.
Do you think it's a good, because in Canada they've taken extreme measures. I mean, curfews, you know, arresting people who even just walk their dog outside of their house, eliminating people from platforms. Do you think, because Canada's been pretty extreme, next step Australia, do you think that in that case there's a risk reward of 85% vaccination, but losing some individual rights there? I'm Canadian, by the way, I should say.
Yeah.
Montreal.
Oh, great.
What are the individual rights you lost, bro? The fucking individual freedom to not die of COVID. Like, that's why do conservatives love making shit up about Canada? Like, they're literally like, oh, it's crazy when crazy that in Canada they're like throwing you in jail for misgendering someone. Oh, really? That's crazy that's happening. I guess that's never happened. Oh, in Canada, people lost all their individual liberties actually because of COVID vaccine mandates and stuff like that. It's like, it's got that same energy as like remember when the Kay Kona guy was like fucking telling me how Germany is on fire because they have free college education.
Great. I'm from Vancouver.
Oh, okay. Never been there. So when people say you're Canadian, they go, do you know? I go, it's a huge country.
Right. No, I don't think so. Because at the end of the day, when you look at death rates in comparison to the U.S. and Canada, you see that, yes, you may lose some personal rights, but you have a greater chance of living because more people are vaccinated. There's less death.
I wouldn't even take that like you're losing some personal rights bullshit. Like, don't even, if you're ever like having a conversation with a human being about shit like this, chatters, don't ever accept the inappropriate framing that your opposition is engaging you with. Like when they say like you're losing your individual liberties, it's like, no, that's a normal function of living in a society. Okay, there's rules and regulations, and you analyze whether those rules make sense or not. And in this situation, the burden of like some kind of restriction on your movement or whatever, ultimately, or having to be vaccinated is totally worthwhile. Your personal rights are not being fucking abused or anything like that, and it's especially worthwhile when you consider the alternative, which is like people dying.
Do your kids go to public schools or to private schools?
Neither.
Oh, neither. Homeschooled?
Yes.
Oh, great. Well, you can't do that in Canada either. That's it. So isn't that a good thing? You have that liberty here in the United States.
Well, you can do that in Canada.
Uh-oh.
It's very, very difficult.
Yeah. You just have to follow the regulations.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. The actual amount of approval, specifically in Quebec, was way worse. But that's good. Good for you. I just had twins. They're just like 12 weeks old, and we're considering that right now for sure. So I was going to ask you then. It doesn't really affect you so much, but what do you think about like the mask mandates in classrooms right now?
Well, I think it's definitely a great health protocol.
Okay.
In the sense that, kids were already being vaccinated.
This is the one guy who I don't hate the if he homeschooled his children. He seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. He delivered the twins. Yeah, that's why he was in the hospital.
To go to classes.
Right.
So, to me, until they have a vaccine for children, that is the best way to keep them healthy.
Okay. So you would support the mandates for the masks in schools?
Definitely.
on that kind of same line of thinking, should we have mask mandates for children every flu season? Do you think? Because some people are saying that's something we should be looking at too.
I don't think so.
Who's saying that? Who said that? Where are they saying that? Who are these people?
Because the death rates are not as high, in terms of the science isn't telling us that yet. So I wouldn't think so.
So my question is kind of, we have a sliding scale, right? This is interviewing a lot of people. What if, let's say, the standard flu, like what if the CDC had numbers that said the standard seasonal flu, the mortality rate is 10 times higher in children than COVID? Would we say, okay, maybe no mask mandate or mask mandate for the flu as well?
I think if the science tells us to go there, we need to go there.
Okay, because it does.
He's going to say that it does, that the seasonal flu kills more kids than COVID.
It does, yeah. It's 0.08 mortality rate for kids with COVID, but a lot of people don't realize the standard flu is very dangerous for kids, kids more so. Not as dangerous for adults, more dangerous for children.
Right.
And it's 0.85%, almost 1%.
Yeah.
Do you think we need to mask up in normal flu seasons?
Well, the thing is, we have such a small data set for COVID.
Oh, dude, he's fucking owning. Oh my God, he said it. Oh, never
It's
mind.
only been with us within a year. We have 20, 30 years of flu data that would tell us that. So I think we just need to study the data.
Okay, this guy is definitely good at homeschooling his children. Never mind. He's smarter than the fucking average American. Probably because he's Canadian. He's just automatically smarter.
To figure it out.
What do you hope to see, I guess, for the country right now, reopening? What would be your...
Wait, what, dude, has Crowder won a single one of these arguments? The only time he functionally won an argument was when the person was already agreeing with him. That's why I said Canada either brings the best people or the worst people. You got the best person and you got the worst person that Canada has to offer. No mid people from Canada. No mids.
Utopia here in the United States. If you could wave your hand, are people walking around with masks, vaccinated? Are we reopening the economy, doing it slowly?
Well, I think it's number one, continued vaccination, getting a higher rate of vaccination. I think, and then there's going to be, periods where potentially you do have to bring masks back, as we saw with the Delta variant.
Right.
But I think it's going to be touch as you go, in terms of we're not going to have one prescription for one region that works across the nation. It's going to be really localized based on your health authorities telling you, here's what the risk is. Let's make changes based on what's happening in our area.
I definitely agree with that. You can't do a one-size-fits-all with a country this big and this populated. So you need to take every arrow you have kind of in your quiver to keep everyone safe. But hey, you're on the right track. You got the little ones homeschooled, and good for you. They're adorable too.
Yet again, we see and
Wait, so he went around and every single person destroyed him. Why did they upload this video? Oh, this is going to be great. I'm definitely posting this on my fucking YouTube. Even agree with the last guy's point of bringing back masks. I don't understand, because I think at this point, his fan base doesn't even respond to what the people are saying. They have lizard brain status, right? They only react when they think that an argument is happening. So if Steven Crowder looks like he's in agreement, then he's like, wow, what a wonderful conversation that they had. There's no analysis there of what is being said.